Hey, meteorologist James Wieland here with another great episode of the Impact Zone. I know I haven't done it in quite some time, but I've been trying to get the computer ready. I got a different program here, not interactive this time, but this is what I've been working on to try to get the in-between the Impact Zone shows where I can show a little video, show a little maps, and give a little forecast of what's going on. So that's what we're going to try to do, and we're going to try to do it fast and not what it normally takes, like an hour like usual. But we'll see if it works. I just did one and it had no sound to it, so hopefully this one is picking up sound. Let's do it. Let's get you on your way here, because we do have some possibilities in the forecast for some swell to head our way. So check it out. I want you to look at right here, low pressure moving off the Delmarva. This is on Tuesday, Monday night, Tuesday, right? Oh yeah, every time I draw on this too, I found that my little my little video is gonna freeze, so you're gonna have to bear with that until I can figure that out. So let's go through time here, and we'll see this low move off. And honestly, this is a great track for this. Each run has been good with the track it takes and the direction that the fetch is pointing at us. All look really good. Now, this is the 18Z run of the GFS. This is a pretty good fetch right here, but it's not terribly strong and not terribly big. It will send a little swell our way, but not all that big. But this happens on Wednesday, so we're talking maybe late Thursday or Friday of this week. There's that possibility of that coming in. But that's a weak low right there. That's really not the one that we're focused on. Watch what happens here as we go into this upcoming weekend here. So that moves on out. Then we watch right over in this area right here, once again, kind of where the first one came from. We get another low to roll off there, which is great. It's a great place for the lows to move on off. And check it out. It just really starts to blow up and wind up and deepen here. And this thing just bombs out there. Look at that fetch just pointed right at us, right in the sweet spot too. I mean, this would be a fantastic scenario if this happens. I know it's still a ways out, so things are going to change quite a bit, so the GFS is really just teasing us here, but this would send a solid overhead plus ground swell, mackin' swell our way if this were to happen. And then it sits out here for 3 days and doesn't even move. A little bit of blocking up here to the north and a little bit off towards the east, so that's preventing this thing from kind of ejecting up in this direction, which is what it would normally do. So it just sits here for a little while and just continually gets wrapped up and generates swell for us until finally it unwinds itself, weakens, and moves up into Nova Scotia. So that's a good scenario. Now, the 0Z run just came in and it's not looking quite as impressive, but it's still showing something out there, a low out there, and that's what I'm going to get at here, is that there will be a low that's going to be out there and it's going to be a swell maker for us. Now, the things that are going to change are the intensity and also the duration of the swell, because the run right before this, the 12Z run right before this, had this thing sitting out here for 5 days straight, which would send a swell to us for a week straight. We would have ground swell a week straight, the run before this. It shortened it the next run. Now we're going into the 0Z run, and you see what happens. The timing about the same, maybe extends it a little bit, but what it takes away is it takes away some of the strength of the system. So check this out. You see this fetch here. Again, it's not that strong, but it is big, and it does get wound up here and deepen. Not quite as deep as the previous run, but look at that. That's the yellow is 23 to 28 knots, so that's 30, 35 mile per hour winds, and that's all pointed straight at us here. And then it lasts for a little while. We go into Sunday, it's still there. we're still going, and we're in the Monday, all day Monday, it's still there. Finally, by Monday night, it unwinds, the fetch goes away, and that's about it. So by the time the end of the fetch comes, we give it another 3 days from this distance away. It takes about 3 days for the swells to get here, so we say maybe 1 day, that's Tuesday, that's all day Tuesday, that's the end of the day Wednesday, and then that's the end of the day Thursday. So it would bring us waves through Thursday of the week before Labor Day. Not this upcoming week. We're talking about the following week now. This is the extended period. I know it sounds ridiculous to even, be looking at this so far in advance, but hey, it's been a long, hot summer and flat summer, and we'll look at anything that sparks up on the maps, I'll tell you that, because we need some waves around here. We've only had a couple of swells this summer. So let's back up here, and let me show you why I think that this might be somewhat believable here with this kind of track. You're seeing it coming off of the Delmarva here, kind of going out, and if this were winter, I mean, this is how we get our big winter swells. It's just this exact same track coming out here. Now, we are done with meteorological summer, even though it's South Florida, it doesn't feel like summer forever. We're pretty much, the planet says we're done with meteorological summer, and we're going to shift gears here into more fall-like things. And when we get into fall and also winter, we start to look at the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation. And we're seeing this, we want it to be negative, and we're seeing it drop way negative here going into the next upcoming week or so. A good sign that we may have this low move offshore and move in this direction. If the NAO in the winter is positive, we get all the storms to do this. They ride up the coast here, hardly any of them go offshore. A negative NAO, they go offshore like this, they even drop south sometimes, and then move up, and that's how we get some good swells. That's also how we get a lot of really cold air to push down into South Florida in winter. Of course, we're not in winter yet, so this is a little bit different, but that's just another sign that I'm seeing that we could be looking at something like this happening. So the timing of this, again, would be the start would be the Monday of Labor Day week, right? And maybe the end is iffy now around maybe Thursday or maybe the Friday going into Labor Day weekend, and then possibly going flat by Labor Day weekend unless you're up coast, or unless we have the tropics to talk about. And hey, things are looking up in the tropics too. Look at this. This is the coast of Africa right here. So the African wave train is really, really starting to fire up here. It is cocked and loaded. We have a tropical wave there. We have one here, here, here. We're looking back toward over Africa and seeing it really starting to kick in, and all these are going to push westward and possibly develop. We got a few things on our side that the tropics are really going to start to heat up. We have all these waves right here that you're seeing. We have the MJO. Remember I talked about it last year. It's kind of a little boost, an upward motion that kind of revolves around the globe, and when it gets in our neck of the woods, it gives it that extra little nudge to maybe get tropical activity going, and once you know it, it's right here right now. That's in our sector 1 here. That's in our neck of the woods. And the forecast, is to have it stay over here in these two sectors here, 1 and 8, which is our neck of the woods. The farther this is from the circle, from the center, the stronger the impulse is. So when you see it moving away, like that, farther from the center, that's a good sign too. And then we have plain old climatology. climatologically, this is the time of year when we start to see these Cape Verde type storms form, long track hurricanes move across. Now, we still have a lot of dry air in here and a lot of that African Saharan dust right there too. So, but there are indications that this is going to start to mix out a little bit, and we're going to start to see a lot more moisture surge this way. We just had a big surge of this dry air though, so it's pretty much entrained in there right now. But give it a week or so, and things will start to get a little bit more moist in the deep tropics, and that will possibly start to spark some of these things to really start to spin up. And the models are showing that a little bit. Let me show you real quick on here. The GFS, and it was showing just like that. Hey, that could be Cristobal coming our way. It makes the hook out to sea. It does not threaten us, but of course when it makes that kind of track, here it is here, Thursday before Labor Day weekend, you know, it sends swell to Central Florida. Of course, we get blocked by the pesky Bahamas, but it'll send swell to Central Florida here for the Labor Day weekend. So we could get a little 1-2 punch. One, a winter type storm, a little early winter type storm that moves offshore, sends a swell, and then a tropical swell coming from the southeast for Central Florida going into the Labor Day weekend. So I'm going to type this all up. Hopefully this video worked, and we can get things going on this thing. Let me know if you guys like this or not. I'm trying to make these things quick, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to upload it to the site. Don't even know if that's going to work, or on YouTube. So peace. We'll see you guys.